Hey guys, it's Yes I Am James back for another video, but before I get started, I'd just like to give my sincere thanks to my good friend UJames1978. Thanks to him I've gone from 21 to 32 subs in the space of just 24 hours, so if you're not already subscribed to him, check out the description box below and I'll leave a link to his channel. I'm also going to be doing my first Q&A video as soon as I hit 50 subs, so if you have any questions for me, just send them to my inbox and leave Q&A as the subject. No questions are off limits. As a mini celebration for the jump in subs, I've cracked open a bottle of my latest batch of homebrew cider, and I've also been toying around with the idea of selectively cultivating yeast to produce alcohol better in lower temperatures, which ties in quite nicely with today's video. So I've had this idea floating around in my mind for a while now. I've been debating creationists for about a year online, and one question I seem to get asked more than any other is, why does it matter? In real life, it's usually asked something like this. What does it matter, right or wrong? And I get this from Christians and atheists alike. Now I could do many hours of video regarding evidence for evolution, and probably will do at some point in the future. But this is a valid question, and I think it's one which doesn't get asked enough, especially here on YouTube. Now personally, I care deeply for truth in all forms, and I feel it is my duty to smash down the walls of ignorance with the hammer of truth whenever it springs up. But it's more than that. A lot more. The evolution versus creationism debate isn't something which is simply arbitrary and meaningless. The practical application of evolutionary theory has real impact on our lives. It's not known as the grand unifying theory of biology for nothing. And even if evolution had no practical applications, that doesn't mean that it wouldn't have any uses in the future. The same could well have been said for electricity when it was first discovered. Ignorance costs lives. I dread to think how many more potentially great biologists we'd have in the world if it wasn't for fundamentalist indoctrination and the absolute bastardization of biology in certain Christian schools. If you're of the impression that evolution doesn't matter, just for a second imagine living in a world where satellite communications didn't exist because everyone believed the Earth was flat. Or where modern medicine didn't exist because people didn't believe in germ theory. And there are people who believe these things, and rightly so, they're considered lunatics. Given the countless and overwhelming evidence we have for evolution, I don't see why creationists aren't treated in exactly the same way. Evolution has already given us a lot, and perhaps one of the most important things it's given us today would be in the field of study of antibiotic resistance. Evolutionary theory would predict that if you didn't kill all the bacteria causing an infection, and then you let it recover and took another set of antibiotics, and then you did the same, then the bacteria would have built up a resistance, and this is why you must always take the full prescribed course of antibiotics. And this is not just important in healthcare, but also in agriculture. Scientists are constantly trying to stay one step ahead. Another practical application of evolutionary theory is selective breeding, and yes, we have been doing this for thousands of years, but a greater understanding of the process and what affects it will drastically speed the process up. Through genetic sequencing, we've been able to identify, detect, and even treat genetic disorders, as well as identify risks to future generations. And this field is still really in its infancy. We've also been able to identify paternity and criminals using this same process. And evolutionary theory even spreads beyond biology. Evolutionary algorithms have been used to solve problems in maths, robotics, chemistry, pharmaceuticals, astrophysics, and could even become useful in compression by selecting fitness requirements for file size and quality. And this all works on the very simple concept that random variation plus a form of selection will gradually produce a better design, often far better than a human designer could produce. application of evolution has shaped our lives for the better and will continue to do so, whereas creationism has given us absolutely nothing except a few entertaining stories. So that is why the evolution debate matters to me. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!